A Houston sports broadcaster may have been canceled for saying absolutely reprehensible things. Disgusting. A once proud sports franchise is reeling, falling apart, and it should be a lesson to diehard sports fans everywhere. Plus, is anyone still confident doing something a lot of us do and clearly take for granted? Because I'm certainly not. I'm Paul Gallant, and all of that and more next in a new episode of the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Wednesday, it's not Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. It is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025 at 8:50 p.m. I'm having a tough time speaking, and I haven't even had any drinks today. You can catch it live on YouTube at Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, on X and Twitter at Gallant Says, on Instagram at Sports Gallant, and on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Monday through Friday at random times. At some point, we might actually do this regularly for 5 days in a row at the same time. For now, we're just trying to do it 5 days in a row. You can also catch it occasionally after major Houston sporting events. After the fact, it's available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify. Also SoundCloud if you still do that. If you want to cut me off mid-thought, super chat me like it says up there. And I'll play this noise.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
And guess what? You get to cut the line. And I'll address your comment right away. If not, I'll still eventually get to your comments. I don't want to rob you blind like I'm the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know how many people caught the Rockets and Raptors slog of a game on Sunday before Super Bowl X. It was an ugly game. I'm glad I didn't watch it. I just went back and watched some of the highlights. There's one moment that shocked the basketball community and the world as a whole because, guys, a Houston sports broadcaster may need to be canceled. This is absolutely horrible what you're about to hear. If you have any children nearby you, it's time to get out the earmuffs. If you have people who are offended by references to penises, it's time for you to leave the room. In fact, it's time for you to just stop playing this podcast right now. But we must do journalism. And Sunday afternoon, I'm really doing a bad job trying to keep track of the days. This was uttered on the Space City Home Network by Ryan Hollins.
Now the Raptors training staff will attend to Grady Dick, who got hurt on that last transition opportunity.
Yeah, somebody got Dick in the face, Craig. See if he's okay.
Whoa. What was that?
Somebody got Dick in the face, Craig. See if he's okay.
One more time. I can't believe we just heard that.
Somebody got Dick in the face, Craig. See if he's okay.
Wow. Somebody got Dick in the face. Ryan Hollins, you need to be ashamed of yourself. How dare you use such language to describe something that didn't even happen on that play? No one got Dick in the face. Oh, wait, is he talking about Grady Dick getting hit in the face? Yes, he is. Here's the full context of this moment, which led to what I think is an absolutely hilarious apology via a notes app by Ryan Hollins later that afternoon. I can't believe he apologized for this.
Yeah, he's
And
taking
so
his
now
time on the way. He's taking his time on the way
helped
up.
up here, and
He got hit pretty good. I mean, he wasn't hesitating there.
Some dicks do take some time on the way up. That's what Viagra and Cialis and all those boner pills are for. But that's not what Ryan Hollins was talking about there. Ryan Hollins was not talking about dicks, dongs, penises, tallywhackers, Johnsons, Ramalama ding dongs. He wasn't talking about any of that. He was just talking about Grady Dick getting hit in the face. Innocuous moment, right? One that you wouldn't think twice about after the fact, right? If you're watching the game, you know it's Grady Dick, and Grady Dick got hit in the face, and it took a while to get up. No one's even snickering or making jokes there. They're hoping that Grady Dick's okay. But I don't know why Ryan Hollins went to Twitter to post this notes app. If you missed it, he actually put this out there. And Ryan, you're doing a great job this year. You and Craig Ackerman have developed great chemistry. I want you to know we're having fun here at your expense, but we do like you. He put this statement out. Here's the missing context. Grady drove to the basketball, took a contested layup, and missed it. He laid on the floor so long that play resumed on the other end and there was no call made. When play stopped, you will go to a replay. Upon the replay, you could see the hit to the face as we explain why he stayed on the floor. Yes, after saying it, you realize what you said and feel the childish embarrassment. What was there to be embarrassed about there, Ryan? Dick got hit in the face. I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about in this situation. Ryan Hollins' statement continues. Later in the same game, one of our guys was knocked down for some time, and the exact phrase was, he got blank in the face. We talked for 2 hours plus, and there's a 5-second clip running rapid. Please gather context next time. For the rest of his career, it's just one of those names. Above all, if there's anyone offended, I send my apologies. Love you guys. Check us out next game. We absolutely will. Ryan, buddy, you didn't need to apologize there. You didn't need to apologize. I even went through the rest of the game to see if there was something else that happened that led to this apology, because this is one of those apologies where I feel like someone told him he needed to apologize. Why did he do that? Why did he go notes app on us? He wasn't talking about dicks, dongs, penises. He wasn't doing that. He was just talking about Grady Dick getting it in the face. And I went through the rest of the game to look for the moment that he was talking about. I thought it might be this one. For those who missed it in this just absolutely god-awful basketball game, it's 67-63 with 10:26 to play in the game as a whole. And guess what? Jeff Green actually got hit in the dick.
oh, Jeff Green is now down.
I don't know if he got hit down low. Not sure there, probably. Yeah, probably.
He did get hit in the dick there. That was a moment where he could have accidentally slipped up, and he might have had to apologize after the fact. We'll get to that in a moment. I don't think you need to apologize for saying the word dick. Everyone says the word dick these days. They don't say it as a name really anymore, but it's a very effective word, I think. Is it vulgar? Is it disgusting? Is it bad for the children? I suppose. I don't know. As someone who doesn't have kids, I don't really give a shit about a word like that. But that moment right there that you just heard, that you just saw, where he's on all fours, that is clearly a moment where he could have said the word dick. But in this Notes app apology, Ryan Hollins was referencing something else entirely. He was referring to, in the third quarter, a moment where Amen Thompson got hit in the face. And I guess he felt the need to explain that, yes, sometimes when you say things, you have to say the person's last name when they get hit. Again, completely ridiculous, but here's that other moment in the game that I think Ryan Hollins was talking about.
Rolls, another guy trying to find rhythm, and wow, man, almost came up with that.
Yep, and also got hit in the nose, it appears, in the face somewhere. Oh boy, the Rockets can ill afford to have another injury here.
Yeah, Baji got a man in the face there.
got a man in the face, much like he got dick in the face. That's what Ryan Hollins felt the need to use as context for his very unnecessary apology for saying that someone got dick in the face. I love this. And again, this is a slow news day, as you could clearly tell. Someone in the Rockets organization must have told him to apologize for that. There must have been some Karen that sent an email in to either the Space City Home Network or to the Rockets, and they were offended that Ryan Hollins had said this. In case you're just tuning in.
Yeah, somebody got dick in the face, Craig.
Someone got dick in the face, Craig. One more time in case you missed it, because this is what Ryan Hollins felt the need to write a Notes app apology for.
Somebody got dick in the face, Craig. See if he's okay.
Absolutely fantastic. So, look, we all make reference to the word dick, right? We all talk about the word dick very often because it's a very effective word to use. You don't know dick. You're being a dick. I hate that dick. Or maybe you're talking about it in a sexual way. It's a word that has a lot of different meanings and lends itself to jokes like this one that was made after Grady Dick got hit in the face after a Houston Rocket got dick in the face. This is from Mike Mitchell. Good Astro follow. Injury update. Dick has not been reinserted since going limp on the baseline. Hell yeah, dude. It's a funny moment. Why did he feel the need to write the Notes app apology? I will never get it. But I thought about this. Dick is a word that has dramatically changed over time. It couldn't have always meant penis, or at least make us think of penis right away. So I asked this question to Google, and Google Artificial Intelligence gave me this answer when I asked, when did dick become a bad word? The word dick has been used as slang since the mid-17th century. It has had multiple meanings, including a sexual partner, a fellow, and a stupid or contemptible person. It was first used to describe a sexual partner in the 1665 satire, The English Rogue, where a dick is used to impregnate a character. That sounds a lot like a penis. Dick also used to be a term to refer to a fellow. Dick has been used as a familiar pet form of the name Richard, similar to Jack. How it got from Richard to Dick is very difficult to figure out. I looked this up, dove into way too deep of a rabbit hole, which is why we started the show so late. I think it's because short for Richard is Rick, and maybe it's something that just simply rhymes with Rick. But it also, the word dick, can be used to describe a stupid or contemptible person. This goes all the way back to the 1960s. An example of this usage is from Norman Bogner's 1966 novel, 7th Avenue. Quote, "He's a dick. I don't know from respect, except for my parents." So in 1966, we used it to describe assholes. Dick, asshole, same thing. Other negative uses of the word dick. 1948, people started saying dick around, which means wasting time. 1948 also, saying dick off means shirking your duties. Dick up, 1951, means to spoil. Dick is a common English slang word for the human penis, writes Wikipedia. It is also used by extension for a variety of slang purposes, generally considered vulgar, including as a word to describe sexual activity, and as a pejorative term for individuals who are considered to be rude, abrasive, inconsiderate, or otherwise contemptible. In this context, it can be used interchangeably with jerk, and can also be used as a verb to describe rude or deceitful actions. Variants include dickhead, which literally refers to the glans. The offensiveness of the word dick is complicated by the continued use of the word in inoffensive contexts, including as both a given name, a nickname for Richard, and a surname. The popular British dessert spotted dick, which is a real thing. I first heard of spotted dick while reading the book Harry Potter. If you've never seen what it looks like, it actually looks pretty good. This is what spotted dick looks like. It looks pretty tasty. Looks like carrot cake. Carrot cake's fantastic. Some people don't really like raisins. Maybe it looks a little bit more like fruit cake, but it looks pretty good, I think. And so the term dick is used there. The novel Moby Dick, the Dick and Jane series of children's books, the American retailer Dick's Sporting Goods. When I first moved to Seattle, I found out about a restaurant chain called Dick's. It's a drive-through. People in Seattle, when I first moved up there, were making the joke like, hey, Paul, did you get a bag of Dick's? Because people make that joke very often. Because if you get fast food from Dick's, they put it in a bag. So, all of this is stemming from Ryan Hollins' very unnecessary apology for saying that a Houston Rocket player got dick in the face. He didn't need to do it. He didn't need to apologize for this.
Transition opportunity.
Yeah, somebody got dick in the face, Craig.
He didn't need to apologize for saying somebody got dick in the face. He definitely wasn't doing it intentionally. He just described what actually happened out there.
Somebody got dick in the face, Craig.
What's wrong with that? I see nothing wrong with it. But how did dick become something to refer to our tallywhacker, our ramalama ding dong? I'm reading on Wikipedia. In the mid-17th century, dick became slang for a man as a sexual partner. For example, in the 1665 satire The English Rogue, which we talked about a little bit earlier, a dick procured to impregnate a character that is having difficulty conceiving. I'm going to read this like it's British literature. The next dick I picked up for her was a man of color, as contrary to the former. Whoa. A little racist. The English Rogue is. As light as is to darkness, being swarthy, whose hair was as black as a sloe, middle-statured, well-set, both strong and active. A man so universally tried and so fruitfully successful that there was hardly any female within 10 miles gotten with child in Hugamaga. What the hell does that mean? But he was more than suspected to be father of all the legitimate. Yet this too proved an ineffectual operator. The British, they're strange. An 1869 slang dictionary offered definitions of dick, including a riding whip and an abbreviation of dictionary, noting that in the North Country, it was used as a verb to indicate that a policeman was eyeing the subject. The term came to be associated with the penis through usage by men in the military around the 1880s. And it's a word that has led to lots of battles. What is allowed? What isn't allowed? This is from Wikipedia, the section about offensiveness. Dick, when used in many of its slang connotations, is generally considered at least mildly offensive. And it's been a battleground for a lot of court cases about free speech. In 1994, the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts upheld a school policy under which a student was prohibited from wearing a t-shirt with a double entendre reading, see dick drink, see dick drive, see dick die, don't be a dick. You weren't allowed to wear that shirt? He's trying to stop people from doing DUIs. In 2001, the FCC, fuck the FCC, bunch of dicks, published guidelines that summarized instances in which a number of media outlets had violated indecency laws when using the word dick in a sexual context. Generally, they all involved rap. A university in New York, their radio station in Cortland, New York, the State University of New York's WSUC-FM, was fined for broadcasting a rap titled, "I'm Not Your Puppet," which referenced shoving my dick up this bitch's behind in one lyric, and stated in another, "I pulled out my dick, popped it in her mouth, and she sucked it." Oh, well, I mean, that goes on the air. I mean, that's not good. But when Ryan Hollins is merely saying this, it doesn't need a Notes app apology, Ryan.
Yeah, somebody got dick in the face, Craig.
You don't need to apologize for that, Ryan. You just don't. And whoever told you needed to apologize is a dick. You didn't need to put that Notes app out there. In January of 2005, the FCC released a ruling that it would not fine broadcasters whose programs used dick on the air to refer to a person behaving contemptibly. Specifically, the FCC stated in its ruling, quote, "A number of complaints cite isolated uses of the word dick or variations thereof. In context, and as used in the complaint of broadcasts, these were epithets intended to denigrate or criticize their subjects. Their use in this context was not sufficiently explicit or graphic and or sustained to be patently offensive." I suppose if we're talking about a dick to the face, that could be considered patently offensive if there's lawyers out there. But I stand with my guy, Ryan Hollins. I stand with Ryan Hollins. Ryan, you did not need to apologize. You did not need to put up a Notes app because at a moment during a god-awful Rockets-Raptors game, you said this after Grady Dick was lying on the floor after clearly being hit in the face.
Yeah, somebody got dick in the face, Craig.
Ryan, you're doing a great job this year. You and Craig Ackerman, I think, have developed fantastic chemistry. I've really enjoyed this on Rockets broadcasts, and I hope that you keep it up. You don't need to apologize for this. And you didn't need to bring up another moment in the game where you talked about a guy getting hit in the face. You didn't need to reference this moment.
Yeah, Baji got a man in the face.
Got a man in the face, got dick in the face. You didn't need to do it, Ryan. You didn't. But it's funny that you did. Anyway, let's read some comments here on YouTube and on Twitch. Big Balls Squad 2021 asks, "Paul, will you ever invite Travis's ex to the show, Kayla Nicole?" I'd love to, honestly. I don't know if she'd accept it, but it would definitely do more good for me than it would for her to finally have on the subject of many of my recent episodes. Kayla Nicole is who I'm talking about. The real thing I take issue with is that I'm sick of seeing headlines about her where she's constantly talking about her ex-boyfriend, Travis Kelce, who she hasn't dated in a very long time. And on top of that, I don't think she's a sports journalist. She went to Pepperdine and studied broadcast journalism. Yeah, but she hasn't had a job as a sports journalist. She's had a job as an in-game host that's different than a journalist. She's not asking hard-hitting questions. She is asking questions. That doesn't make you a journalist per se. And I suppose I'm gatekeeping here being a big J journalist, but as someone who went to the best sports broadcasting school in the country, there's a little bit more involved if you want to call yourself a sports journalist. And she needs to do more work to actually call herself a sports broadcaster. This is the same thing that you see from people on reality TV shows like The Bachelor who come on, ex-football player, like a pro football player, pro basketball player. Motherfucker, if this person was a pro football player or pro basketball player making millions of dollars, they wouldn't need to go on The Bachelor to, let's be honest, use their dick. They'd be doing quite well in real life. But the guys who've maybe only had a cup of coffee and not getting any further than that, it's difficult for those folks, you know? Coastal Stew says, "Get your shit together, Paul. Worth a listen, but goddamn." Yeah, the beginning of this show is pretty rough. Rick the Ruler says, seriously, he apologized. He did. James Clancy says, Ryan's been lights out this year, but this and the Aura Maxing game weren't some of his best moments. Whatever. I like a guy who has a little bit of fun out there. And this broadcast, no offense to Bill Worrell, who I know a lot of you guys have great memories with from him calling the championships in the mid-90s. I felt like the Worrell broadcast with Matt Bullard got a little bit too whiny about the refs, and it wasn't that fun. We got a Turkish guy in here. He's trying to talk a little bit of shit. That's on brand. Justin Singleton comments on YouTube. I like Ryan Hollins. He's been good as the Rockets play-by-play guy. Yeah, he's been fantastic, man. He's been absolutely great. Skeeter 2 times says, Hollins is trash. The worst color commentator of all time. I disagree, sir. I disagree. I get that Bill's a legend, but Bill wasn't my cup of tea. I felt like he created an army of Houston sports fans who constantly complain about the referees. Justin Singleton says, we need that good I am athlete journalism from Kayla Nicole. I don't know what it is. She was on the red carpet. She tapped Deion Sanders on the shoulder. There are headlines about that. Are they blinking? Which is kind of unfair to her, to be honest. But she's got to actually do some real sports journalism. And as I highlighted in yesterday's live stream, I don't know why she did this, but for some reason, she went on the field after the game without a microphone and was doing interviews of players and coaches, but she didn't actually get their answers. She just got recorded asking questions. Where was the camera work? Where was the microphone? She was holding a fake microphone out like this. Go watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on my TikTok and Instagram and all that shit. If you haven't already, by the way, please like this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're just stumbling along and you like what you see at Paul Gallant. On Twitch at Gallant Says, if you're more of a Twitcher. On X and Twitter at Gallant Says. Instagram at Sports Gallant. And Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Jacob Cortez, I appreciate that super chat.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
Hey, Paul, do you have any advice for someone moving across country? I'm also bummed I won't get to watch games with my dad anymore. How did you handle? Man, that's a tough question. So, for those who don't know, when I was born, I lived in Massachusetts. I lived in Massachusetts until I was 14. My family had a pretty dramatic split when I was about 12. It's right around the time the Patriots won their first Super Bowl run. My dad and mom divorced. And things got pretty heavy for about a year and a half. I still had a very privileged childhood, and I've got nothing to bitch about. But things got to a point where my mom wanted to move to Florida to be closer to her family, and my dad and my sister wanted to stay up in Massachusetts. So I moved to Florida with my mom. And I was a psycho diehard Patriots fan, 14 years old. And one of the stipulations for moving that I made with my mom was I will do all the chores around the house as long as I have access to NFL Sunday Ticket, which is quite the demand. I'm not sure I did enough of the household chores to keep that NFL Sunday Ticket for my second year there, but I did get to watch the majority of Patriots games my freshman and sophomore year at high school in Florida. So that helped. But that was in a pre-internet age. These days, I'm not 100% sure how the online streaming apps work with, say, a VPN. But I do know that you can always do, if you're out of market, the single team packages for MLB TV and NBA TV, which are a little expensive for a full season, but you can use those to potentially watch all the games. I know, and I did this in Seattle, I didn't want to pay for cable when I was up there, and I don't think that the streaming apps at that moment in time had the Mariners games that I had to watch for work on them at that point. So what I did was I got an MLB TV subscription for the Mariners, and I got a VPN, and I would use a VPN to watch it on MLB TV every night. Only a couple of my TVs were compatible with it, and sometimes the VPNs didn't actually work. So that's what you can do if you're in market, allegedly. But if you want to watch games out of market, that's what you have to do. Sunday tickets really expensive. I don't know if they have a single team package. I think you have to buy all of it. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks being away from your family. Like me and my dad grew up going to Patriots games. How many games did I go with my dad to? At least 40, probably 50, bunch of playoff games along the way. Some of the best memories I have growing up. I'm so thankful my dad took me to all those games. So that sucks if you're not going to be able to watch it with him anymore, man. I feel for you. So now I think we can all forgive Ryan Hollins. He did not do anything bad in that moment. He did not need to apologize. And we learned how the word dick came to be. I want to talk about what's going on with the Dallas Mavericks. Speaking of dicks, that's what the Dallas Mavericks are being to their fans. It is impossible to handle the fallout of the Luka Doncic to the Lakers trade for Anthony Davis worse than the Mavericks have. And it doesn't help that Anthony Davis literally got hurt against the Rockets 3 quarters in to his first game. He was looking pretty good out there. Friday, we discussed this on the Gallant Says live stream. We found out that Nico Harrison, the Mavericks general manager, was getting some death threats out there. In case you missed that, here they are.
Howdy, Malika. Listen, this is a heartbroken fan base, and there have been some very unfortunate developments regarding that anger, that angst. Nico Harrison has been subjected to death threats. There have been racial epithets included in some of those. Certainly security is going to be beefed up. There will be protests outside the arena, or at least those are planned. Security will absolutely be beefed up. Nico Harrison is not going to be in his normal seat in the stands. They just don't, there's no reason to subject him to that kind of a security risk. So that has been definitely an unfortunate part of this whole storyline. Obviously, the fans' anger, hey, they have every right to feel like they got a generational superstar ripped away from them, but clearly lines have been crossed.
Clearly lines have been crossed. And, I mean, you start off with that. You never want death threats, though I always take online death threats with a little bit of a grain of salt. But that's how things started off on Friday. Somebody that covers the Mavericks for independent media named Grant Afseth posted this tweet in response to that McMahon stand-up on ESPN where clearly lines have been crossed. He reported that there are no known threats at this time directed at Mavericks GM Nico Harrison, so none of them are reported to the actual police. This comes despite ESPN's report yesterday on added security measures due to, quote, death threats, end quote, ahead of Saturday's game against the Rockets. This pissed off Tim McMahon. If you didn't see it, here's Tim McMahon responding to that on a podcast. I believe this is with Brian Windhorst and some other NBA talkers. Because it got community noted.
I've been ripped because the Dallas Police Department's told some wannabe journalists that, oh, we haven't had any, there's no known threats to us. Folks, the Mavericks have security that's literally been at the highest level of American law enforcement. The threats did not raise themselves to where they felt like they needed to be reported to police, but I guarantee you, and I've heard from multiple sources that he's received death threats. By the way, I've received a couple death threats. I didn't report them to the police, but this is how pissed off people are about this trade.
A little bit of a humble brag by Tim McMahon at the very end of that. I, too, have received death threats. Look up Paul Gallant, Chill Dog, DAWG. Gotten death threats for other things, too. Whatever. I take them all with a grain of salt. Someone's going to come get me? Damn. I guess it's just my time. Would be pretty funny. Radio host murdered for having outlandish take about dicks on the Gallant Says podcast live on February 11th of 2025. But things have clearly gotten out of control for the Dallas Mavericks. And you might remember that Mark Cuban used to own the Dallas Mavericks. He doesn't anymore. How would you feel if you saw Cuban, who no longer controls the organization, at some sort of speaking engagement with Bill Gates? I imagine people have actually paid to go to this, to have a couple of billionaires talk down to you. Must be great. I'm going to pay so that I can hear words of wisdom from some cunty billionaires. One of these things that I do not understand, you ever heard people do these debates where they'll ask you, what would you rather have? Would you rather have $100,000 or a sit down with Jay-Z or some mogul? And some people say, yeah, you want the sit down. You want to sit down with the mogul, because to sit down with the mogul, you know what that's going to do? It's going to give you an opportunity to maybe earn something more than money. A little thing that we like to call knowledge. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, these people don't respect you. People that are up at this level, they do not respect you. And you got to remember that when it comes to sports owners. These people, to be frank, and excuse my language here, but the people who own professional sports franchises, these constantly appreciating assets that truly require no skill to run and make a profit, they think you're unwashed retards who will just consume no matter what they do. Hate to throw that word out there, but that is how they look at you. I remember that because that's how the Houston Texans looked at football fans here in Houston when this team was not very successful. They were so arrogant about the idea that people would come back. And to their dismay, they found out over the course of the past decade that that's not the case. If the team sucks, people will walk away, people will get angry, people will criticize the product. Because ultimately, these local teams in your backyard, you know what they are? They're a product. And if the product is bad, they are not due your loyalty. That's why I find Jets fans to be crazy. That's why I find the diehard sports fans across the country to be nuts. And it's different for me because I cover sports and I'm not just a sports fan, you know? For me, I'm in it. This is my life. When things are bad, I'm going to tell you it's a bad product. And you can continue to invest and you can try to show loyalty. But remember, they are counting on your loyalty because they don't respect you. They think that you will keep on coming back and back and back to watch. Even when you do things, even when they do things that piss you off, they expect you to return because there's this idea that it's noble to be a sports fan of a team that fucking sucks. They are counting on you to have that mindset. And it's fucking wrong and it's reprehensible. Anyway, here is Mark Cuban at some stuffy fucking billionaire tell-all thing making jokes about what just happened to the Mavericks.
And so I wanted to start off with a question because you've been in, unique situations and maybe you can help. If after you left Microsoft, you found out that Steve Ballmer traded Windows 11, like the new hot operating system, for Windows 10, the Hall of Fame, but older operating. What would you do?
I might have to hide from the press.
I know a couple other people that are in that situation.
To quote Nick Cage in the movie Face Off, fuck you, and fuck you. If you're a Mavericks fan, that's how you should feel at this asshole who no longer owns the team laughing about it. That's how you should feel. This is the same guy who said he'd divorce his wife before he let the Mavericks move on from Luka Doncic, and here he is laughing about the situation in front of a bunch of people that are paying to sit here and listen to these two guys talk. Fuck off. I can't believe that people actually go out of their way to listen to people like this. So the protests outside of the Mavericks stadium have been fun to watch. In case you've missed some of it, I got a couple of videos of what's going on outside the stadium. Here's one chant that took place.
Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
Harmless chant, right? Fire Nico. Fire Nico. Fire Nico Harrison. You've also got some other chants that are like this, which are just your routine Nico sucks.
Nico fucking Harrison. Nico sucks! 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 Nico sucks!
More chants. You've also got a car driving by that says "Sell the team." So there's more. You've also got this chant, which honestly is fucking hilarious, where Mavericks fans talk about the way that Luka Doncic was portrayed after the trade as basically being fat and out of shape. He's not fat. Bring him back. That's a good one. So then, Monday, the Mavericks played the Kings. This game also took place in Dallas. Dallas Mavericks' new governor, because you can't call them owners anymore because that's racist or something, Patrick Dumont was booed as he was walking through the arena. He tried to smile it off, but I'm sure he was ashamed and perhaps a little bit concerned for his health.
2 shots.
Deserved. He is smiling at least. Give him credit there. But things got a little messier. There's an ESPN front page story from Tim McMahon, who you heard from a little bit ago. The title reads, "Fans break NBA code of conduct, ejected from Mavericks loss." With emotions from the Luka Doncic trade still raw, multiple fans of the Mavericks' 129-128 loss to the Sacramento Kings Monday at American Airlines Center due to violations of the NBA's code of conduct, according to a team spokesperson. Each instance prompted boos from the crowd. Mavericks governor Patrick Dumont, whose family purchased the majority share of the franchise from Mark Cuban last season, also was loudly booed when he returned to his courtside seat with 2:56 remaining in the third quarter. 2 of the fans who were removed held large poster board signs that read, "Fire Nico," a reference to Dallas general manager Nico Harrison. One of those men was seen mouthing, "Fire Nico," on the arena video screens earlier in the game before the camera quickly panned out. Yeah, this guy was fantastic. This guy tricked the Mavericks into zooming in on him during a crowd karaoke video. And ultimately, we saw in that moment him say, "Fire Nico." You couldn't hear him, but you just saw it come out of his mouth. If you're a good lip reader, you could see they said, "Fire Nico." The cameraman zoomed out as quickly as he could. I hope that person didn't get canned for that. But the Mavericks are of the belief that this broke a rule in the NBA code of conduct. Clothing, garments, or signs displaying explicit language, profanity, or derogatory characterizations toward any person. Did that happen? Does saying fire Nico do that? I get that it's private property and all, and they have the right to kick somebody out if you're one of those bootlickers who actually wants to take the Mavericks side here. But here is the NBA's code of conduct. The National Basketball Association seeks to foster a safe, comfortable, and enjoyable sports and entertainment experience in which, quote, players and fans respect and appreciate each other. Okay. Doesn't say anything about /governors/executives there.